And yet another time for Trey's timeless 15 minutes of explain. Totally raw commentary, unedited. Tonight I'm going to talk to you about a touchy subject that I've already touched on before. And that is a fact or a question mark in my mind. And that question is, can a town or a state be narcissistically possessed? When I saw, and I actually showed at Food Not Bombs to a few of my friends, Indigo Angel's telepathic video about the Hadron Collider and the energy, how the Hadron Collider's energy works around California. And, it's basically amps up the black magic mojito, all the other microwave kind of weapons. And again, the so-called cost of living, the people working three jobs 7 days a week is a normal thing around here in this neighborhood in particular. Normalizing that kind of slavery behavior. So she sees that it's a huge, it's like this place, many people, psychics feel this part of the world is like on the downward, the downward trajectory. Whereas, say, perhaps Big Sur or say Mount Shasta might have the upward. It just the overall, as Mark Passio said, the overall aggregate energy of a place or a country really represents the state, the country, and the town. Really represents the energy you get. So, so we have a lot of Illuminati people around here, a lot of black magic rituals, tremendous amounts at this college. They're still making all these students take a booster. Because I asked one that's really a groovy natured dude the other day, and so as I said to Klaus Schwab in the last video and Bill Gates, I'll say to UCSC, you have to repent, scientism, death cult, and accept the Christ. I have a Mercury and Capricorn retrograde in my birth chart, so it's like I keep people at arm's length, like talk to the hand, like the Santa Cruz talk to the hand. Well, when you live in a narcissistic town with a curse on it, with a lot of Zetas probably and other antiverse spirits and ghosts all around us here, well, it's like if you're not haunted and possessed, then you're an enlightened master, because you have to be. So when you live in a town, when you're surrounded by narcissistically, if they're not naturally narcissistic because they're having to hustle really hard and work their personality and their ego, and they're not really that old of a soul, they're younger soul learning and but yet really talented or high IQ, maybe a lot of reptilian blood. Either that or they are retired, disabled, or like myself, they do not play the game. Okay, sometimes once in a while, every day almost, pretty much every day, you run into people who live so-called alternative lifestyles. But like I say in previous videos, even most of them will be possessed by these narcissistic spirits. So I unfortunately, I feel like Indigo Angel is believable in this, and okay. So now it brings on to the therapeutic, the healing aspect. So after 19 and a half years in this town, so how do I deal with it? What do you do? Well, that's one of the reasons I'm like the traditional mystic, camping in a tent at the edge of town so that I get the oxygen. I'm just a little bit of a hair away from those spirits, most of them. So what you do is, like I said in the past video, you respect the truth, and you learn, to discern. You learn to discern. You know, you learn to discern the difference, man. A meditator, a lot of Buddhists were aware of this. Native Americans, Native Africans, shamans, were aware of all these issues. And okay, so when you're on the Babylonometer, as I call it, the 12-hour clock. I mean, I see people here of every economic group, by the way, even homeless going for their shower or getting kicked out of their spot they're hiding in or whatever. So everyone is subject to, or in the West Coast, or when you go to the city regions, when you're in the city, you see everyone is subject to the black cube, hex, tech hex, the hadron colliders, and the energies of the zeta and the second bardo, trying to cause accidents. Part of what I realized since I've learned about all this, part of what they call the Santa Cruz curse is these demonic, soulless, antiverse, zeta type spirits. If it's not ghosts, it's them trying to cause accidents and problems. But it's always coming through this like narcissistic vibration, and they always have that. I want to say to all my friends and family that live in Santa Cruz that have this problem, just realize it's fake. It's not you. That you're a loving being. And to my blood kin, if they have to act this way to me again, ever, just remember, like I said many times, it's not you. You're a loving being. You're a wonderful person. But these narcissistic demons are not. And these parts of the world, I think they're just like piled on here. So again, like I said, my homie said, this is like a great place if you want to do the shadow work because you're forced to. You don't have a choice. So like I say, with my Mercury and Capricorn retrograde, I don't mind hanging out by myself. I'm okay with it. I love Santa Cruz, but I don't really see when I look at it economically, the property tax, the rent, the competition over boxes. How I've seen most of my family, people's, actually all USA wide. Most of my friends that had reproduced had their family torn apart. And it's no coincidence. The Child Protective Services have been caught. They've been caught. The Boys and Girls Club have been caught. They've been caught. Been caught. Now it was always single individuals that were caught here and there, but I connect the dots. You know what I mean? I connect the dots. There's no theories involved. Okay, like I say, when JFK was shot, the CIA, probably the same guy that was, that didn't want, they were involved. They didn't want him to reveal it, the disclosure. So, it's like, it's all conspiracy theories now. See? Well, they're going to watch this video before anyone else, man. You know what? They're not going to say anything. You know why? Because only like 10 people or 100 or 500 people at the most will watch this. And you know what? It's the age of disclosure, man. The truth is coming out. Okay? And you know what? You know what? I'm about the truth, man. I respect truth. And I invite everyone on planet Earth to learn to respect the truth, no matter how fucking painful it is. I know it's painful, babies. And the masters, especially, everyone knows, man. Okay, but when you learn to respect the truth is that, again, it's at the end of your interference. I mean, all those who took the experiment, I don't know what to say, but, we're praying that you're going to be okay somehow. I mean, I think about the movie Tron or the third, it was like the second or third video that ever came out on MTV by Aha, Take On Me. If anyone wants to see that, I think about my mother. I think about this video because it's like you're going to watch your family and friends become like these characters in a cartoon. So I've taken it upon myself to become this two-dimensional character. I'm a two-dimensional character on the screen. I've adopted this after 20 years. Like I say, I've seen within the first 5 years, being terrified to see that they ripped out most of the payphones and forced everyone to use these microwave phones. And how much of a dopamine hit addiction it was for most people, putting that to their head, and how the IQ point has been lowered by 30 points in the last 20 years. And now I am fully addicted to this computer, microwaving myself to share my wisdom and my music and learn and learn and learn. And like, if I don't take a tolerance break, some people probably think I'll explode wisdom, but because I'm sharing it, I've always, as what I know about tantric, and not having a wife or girlfriend, I've tragically, at times, wonderfully connected to this archetype of the Orobolo that I've been hearing people speak negatively about, in the sense of the Saturnian, the Draconian, or the ancient death cults, or reptile serpent cults version. Whereas for me, it was survival, babies. It was surviving on a planet that was taken over by monster criminals, and as far as the media, or the major amounts of people on this planet were obedient to it, you see, especially here. So what I've learned is that I will never stop being friendly. I will learn what equanimity really means. I will remember joy all the time, much as I can. And I will always have compassion for everyone as much as I can. The four immeasurables are part of my Buddhist training. Okay. I respect Almighty Lord, the Lord that is in my heart, the higher D, actually the hired. I'm hired, and I hired me. And you hear me, whoever you are, it doesn't matter. Because I was born again into the real Christos. I use my creativity to remember me. I use my soul to remember the devil never had control. And that's why I was a threat. That's why I had to be targeted. That's why I had to be bribed to be lonely, bribed to be childless, bribed to be a boy man, bribed to be a hermit. But all of those things were just part of my identity. In every limitation, I become free. I turn most every single thing, Satan or Lucifer and all the black suns, all they ever did to me, on their head. Because in their black pit that was once a heart, if it ever was, they know this is the second coming of Christ, and they cannot survive unless they go through a purification to the oneness, because the oneness is what is real. The Most High is the real feeling of the future. As Dan Willis said, will it be a Star Trek future or this slave Nazi planet living dead? I don't choose that. I choose to communicate with yous, my family, from every dimension, wherever you are. I respect all beings who have respect, all those who have disrespect. What I'm teaching you here is you can learn to disconnect from them. Let go of the fear. Take a deep, deep breath and realize the internal respect you have for yourself is more powerful than these narcissistic, demonic, ancient, reptilian, disrespectful, interdimensional beings that try to convince you they're you. And that's what many of my videos are about, and it's very important for you all to realize you have the power to disconnect from the demonic mind control, but only if you summon that power from within your heart and your brain, your discernment, your self-respect, your self-love. You have the power to become one with the sacred Christ within and around you, and learn to respect all beings. You have that power. I cannot give it to you. I could try to use this microwaves and light within my and bubble hash within my third eye to bring it about, but in the end, it's going to be more connected physically in 3D. I have to reconnect my 3D. We all have chakras. Most of us have chakras we have to reconnect. But we all have that power. And you can subscribe to this channel if you like. If you haven't already, you can press thumbs up if you want. You can enjoy my wisdom and music, all I put